According to the Global Footprint Network, the entire population uses about 1.5 Earths to be able to supply and sustain life on Earth. They estimate that if trends continue, we will need about 2 Earths by 2030 to be able to sustain our life, our way of life. Today I will talk about our human footprint and how it affects us and our environment as a whole. The Global Footprint Network poses a question of what will it take for humanity to be able to live within their means, in which the planet provides. So I ask you, what will it take for you to be able to live within those means? Human footprint is the same as our ecological footprint. Ecological footprint is the measurement of the environment and the stress caused by human consumption. Ecological footprint is the total that helps to measure humankind demand for goods and the Earth's ecological capacity to be able to provide and regenerate the resources. By not knowing what is our ecological footprint, we are not aware of just how much damage we are conflicting onto our environment. Which nations in the world or corporate businesses have the biggest ecological footprint? Companies are not being held accountable for their actions. Governments also are lacking in funding programs to protect our natural environment. There is also a link that has been found between nations with poor environments and health. According to the International Journal of Environmental Science, a case study on the ecological footprint, a tool for measuring sustainable development, states that there is a correlation between nations with poor environment and poor health. It is important to know that the products that we buy or consume do not have a negative side effects or deplete our natural resource. It is important that these companies reevaluate their products to be safe for us to purchase. Now we know what is our ecological footprint and how it affects us. I will explain 3 causes of our large ecological footprint. Our ecological footprint has increased due to urbanization, companies, and lack of government regulation or improving policies to protect the environment. In today's society, much of the population live in large cities in the world. According to the Population Reference Bureau, urban cities consume more food, water, and energy and goods than rural places. In doing so, many of these products being consumed are either thrown in the ground, waste more water than what they really need, and large feedlots and agricultural farms are being created. According to the American Society of Microbiology in their article, Prevalence and Impact of Bacteriophages and the Presence of Escherichia coli, O157H7, in feedlot cattle and their environment. In the article, they did a case study on 2 feedlots in Alberta, Canada, and found out that both feedlots had E. coli. This is a great danger to our health because much of the world population consumes meat, and we don't even know that our meat may have traces of E. coli until we get sick. According to the Natural Resource Defense Council, pollution from the waste that feedlots create go into the water, fish, and sever the waterways across the country. The second cause of why our ecological footprint is large are companies not being held for their damage on the environment. According to the British newspaper columnist Julia Jowitt from The Guardian, on 18th of February 2011, the United Nations did a study on the world's 3,000 biggest companies. Found out that if these companies were held for their total damage on the environment, the cost would estimate $2.2 trillion US. If these companies were to be held to pay, 1/3 of these companies would lose their profit. In the study, they found out that half of these companies were releasing greenhouse gas emissions, air pollution, overuse, and pollution on water. Governments are another cause of our ecological footprints by not being able to regulate and properly fund programs that protect the environment. In the case of the United States, Environmental Protection Agency is a federal agency that helps protect the environment and making sure that the U.S. citizens are able to live and work in a healthy environment. But in recent times, according to Bloomberg News columnist Jim Estachio Jr. in April 12, 2011, that a $1.6 billion will be cut from their funding, which will reduce the agency in being able to fund programs and limit their agency in enforcing laws, which a month ago that year proposed to limit toxins that were being released in coal plants. But due to the cuts, the facilities that help clean up the toxins will not be able to run due to budget cuts. Now that we know the causes of our ecological footprint, there are some solutions to be able to solve our problems. The solutions that I will propose to you are solutions that are simple and effective, and that if they are met, will be able to decrease our ecological footprint and to be able to maintain our environment clean. What can you do to be able to have a positive impact on the environment? Become aware of your daily actions and how they affect everyone else. Recycling, turning off all our energy appliances when they are not in use. Go from bottled water to tap water. According to the NRDC, they state that there have been studies that show that it takes 2,000 times more energy to create water bottle than getting water from tap. In the film Tap, research was found by 200 independent scientists that traces of BPA, which is bisphenol A, which is what creates the clear plastic that is our plastic bottles. The chemical found in BPA has been linked to obesity, prostate cancer, breast cancer, diabetes, brain disorders like deficient hyperactivity disorder, low sperm counts, and men ovarian disease, and they even state that the list is endless. And at the corporate level, we have the buying power to choose where we want to buy our stuff from if they don't meet our requirements. If we see that these corporate companies are having a negative effect on our environment and are not being held responsible for their damages, then we can choose to buy our supplies at another place that is environmentally responsible. If everyone were able to do so, companies would force to change their products. Our government should take the initiative in protecting our environment. If our government can't be able to properly fund our programs to be able to run and provide the services that help protect the environment and make sure that it is safe for us to live in, then we have the power to make sure that our government is funding programs like EPA, writing a letter to Congress, official, or senators, to pass bills that can help properly fund programs like EPA, to be in favor of passing bills that will protect our environment. By voting for a candidate who will stand in favor protecting the environment and making sure that our ecological footprint decreases so that we do not degrade any further more natural environment. Today we found out more about our ecological human footprint and how it affects us and how we as a society and our drive for more consumer goods have a negative effect on the environment and our health. How we can be the solution to the problem by changing our habits, knowing that we have the power to purchase our goods, elect officials who will make sure that the environment is protected. As a society, it is important that our human civilization realizes that the decisions that we are making are having and will be having severe consequences for the next generations to come. It is vital that we start to think about our environment and how our human footprint is affecting everything we see. We must make a change for the better to ensure that our children and their children will be able to live in the world where they don't have to worry about environmental degradation.